What if the one you keep making dua for was never yours to begin with? What if Allah already wrote someone for you, but you were too focused on chasing the wrong chapter to notice? This isn't just about love. It's about destiny, about heartbreak, surrender, and the wisdom behind delay. Because when it comes to marriage, the question isn't, will I ever find someone? It's, do I trust what's already written for me? And if you've ever cried in sujud asking, Ya Allah, is this from you? Then this is the video your soul has been waiting for. They say what's meant for you will never miss you. But what if you missed it because you weren't listening? What if Allah had already written someone for you, but you were too distracted, too wounded, too focused on someone he never chose? This question lingers in the silence after every heartbreak. Are spouses predestined by Allah? Is there someone out there written in our Qadr? Or is it all just about making a good choice, making dua and hoping for the best? No one wants to ask it out loud because the answer feels like it decides everything. It's the question behind every teary-eyed sujud, every restless night spent overthinking a love that didn't last. Was it written? Was it a test? Or did I choose wrong? Let's start with something most people never tell you. Yes, Allah has written everything. He wrote who you'll meet, who you'll love, and even who you'll lose. But that doesn't mean your story is passive. It doesn't mean you have no role in it. In Islam, divine decree isn't fatalism. It's not about sitting back, doing nothing, and saying if it's meant to be, it'll happen. No, it's about trusting the writing while still walking with wisdom. It's about understanding that every choice you make and every person you let into your life was already known by the one who sees all ends. Allah's knowledge isn't limited to what will happen. He knows what could happen, what would happen, and what shouldn't happen for your soul to survive. So is your spouse written for you? Yes, but here's what no one tells you. So are the tests before them. Sometimes the heartbreak that broke you was just as written as the person you'll end up with. Sometimes Allah doesn't delay your marriage to punish you. He delays it to protect you, because the person you're crying for might be the very person who would have shattered your Deen. And the one you keep pushing away could be the one written to protect your soul. But how do you know? How do you tell the difference between a lesson and a lifetime? That's where the heart meets submission, and where dua becomes your compass. Sometimes we make dua with our hearts already set, not on Allah's will, but on the person we're begging him to give us. We don't say, Ya Allah, write what's best for me. We say, Ya Allah, make this person best for me. Even if I'm already breaking, just trying to hold on. But here's the truth most people avoid. You can be sincere in your dua and still be wrong about the person. Why? Because sincerity doesn't always mean suitability. Sometimes your heart is genuine, but your vision is limited. You're asking for what feels right, but Allah is protecting you from what you can't yet see. Allah sees the conversations behind your back, the character that changes when no one's watching, the future you'd walk into if that person said yes. And so, when the doors close, when the timing slips, when the heartbreak comes, it's not rejection, it's redirection. You weren't being punished. You were being preserved. And maybe you didn't get the one you cried for because they were only meant to teach you how to cry to Allah again. That's why in Islam, we have a beautiful gift, Istikhara, not to confirm your desire, but to align your soul with what was always best. You're not asking Allah to give you what you want. You're asking him to pull your heart toward what was written with mercy and push you away from what would have taken more than it gave. Because sometimes the person you're obsessing over would have drained your peace, weakened your worship, and wrecked your self-worth. But the one Allah wrote for you, they don't pull you away from him. They pull you closer. So, is love in your hands or in his decree? It's both. You have the will to choose. But he already knows who you'll choose and what that choice will do to your soul. And out of his love, he sometimes breaks your heart early to save your faith later. Because you asked for something good, but he was preparing you for something better. And that no you got, you keep asking, why hasn't it happened yet? You've prayed. You've done everything right. You stayed halal. You begged in sujud. You fasted Mondays and Thursdays. And still nothing. And it hurts because you weren't asking for luxury. You were just asking for love. Halal love. Peaceful love. Love that brings you closer to Allah, not further. But all you received so far is silence. Here's what you need to hear. Delays are not denials. They're divine preparation. Because sometimes the love you want will break the version of you you currently are. And Allah won't give it to you until you become the person who can carry it. You're not waiting on a person. You're waiting on a version of yourself that's finally healed enough to love without losing your Deen, to give without compromising your dignity, to be loved without being controlled. And maybe they're still being prepared too. Maybe Allah is still healing their wounds, still growing their patience, still aligning their du'as with yours. So when the delay hurts, don't just ask, where's my person? Ask, who am I becoming in the wait? Because real love is a responsibility. It's not about being chosen. It's about being ready. If Allah gave you what you asked for right now, would you hold it with gratitude or destroy it with insecurity? Would you lead with your prayer life or lead with your fear of being left? Sometimes what you're asking for isn't wrong, but the timing would crush you. So he holds it back, not to punish, but to protect. He knows when love will elevate you and when love will consume you. That's why some of the most beautiful marriages are not between the most compatible people, but between the most spiritually aligned souls. They may have nothing in common, except their commitment to not walk away when the test comes, except their willingness to pull each other toward Allah when the world tries to pull them apart. And you don't get that kind of love overnight. You become it. You grow into it. You earn it through the tears, the patience, the painful no's, and the du'as that felt ignored. But they weren't ignored. They were being recorded, held, delayed until the best moment. And when it arrives, you won't question the wait anymore. Maybe what you're searching for was never just a person. Maybe it was a path back to yourself, back to your Rab, back to the peace you forgot was possible, without anyone else completing you. Because when Allah delays something, He doesn't just make you wait. He makes you grow in the wait, so that when love comes, it doesn't become your Lord. It becomes your worship. And that changes everything. There's a difference between someone who completes your loneliness and someone who completes your Deen. The first makes you feel good. The second makes you better. And in a world full of people chasing chemistry, excitement, and perfect timing, you were chosen to chase something higher, something written, something blessed. So don't be ashamed if your journey took longer. Don't rush into love just to soothe the ache, because sometimes Allah lets you feel empty, so you stop settling for less. You may not have gotten the person you prayed for, but you got something stronger. You got a reminder of what matters. You got a heart that finally feels. You got a connection to the one who never left. And that is not a loss. That is foundation. Because the next time love enters your life, it won't be the only thing you worship. It'll be part of your worship. The difference? You won't beg to be chosen anymore. You'll be too busy choosing what brings you back to Allah. So if you're still waiting, still wondering if it'll ever happen, still holding on to that last silent prayer in your chest, let this be your reminder. The one written for you will come when you're no longer losing yourself to find them. And when it happens, it'll feel like Allah answering every unspoken prayer at once. Speech balloon if this video reached something deep inside you. Leave a dua in the comments. For yourself, for someone you love, for the one who's still coming. Say, Ya Allah, write for me a love that doesn't distract, only directs. And if your soul needed this, share it with someone who's been silently waiting too. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.